Imagine this. You call an Uber late at night, just like thousands of people do every day. You get in the car. The driver seems normal. The ride feels ordinary until it doesn't. Until the streets outside your window aren't streets you recognize anymore. Until the lights of the city vanish behind you, and the GPS on your phone shows nothing but empty gray space. Tonight's story is about a ride that went horribly wrong, a ride to somewhere that doesn't exist on any map. You'll hear the terrifying moment the passenger realized the doors wouldn't unlock, the driver's chilling smile when asked to stop, and the horrifying secret of where he was really taking them. If you've ever taken a late-night Uber alone, this story might make you think twice. So put on your headphones, turn off the lights, and get ready for a ride you'll never forget. Because what you're about to hear is one of the scariest true-style horror stories ever told. Backhand index pointing right. If you enjoy terrifying true horror stories like this one, make sure you subscribe, drop a like, and share this video. It helps us bring you more nightmares every single week. I'd taken Ubers at night before. I mean, who hasn't? It's supposed to be safer than walking, safer than waiting alone for a bus in the dark. That night, I told myself the same thing as I ordered one just past midnight. I was exhausted from work, too tired to drive my own car, and figured a quick 20-minute ride home was the easiest option. The car pulled up exactly on time. Black sedan, tinted windows. The driver leaned over and gave me a polite nod as I slid into the back seat. He looked ordinary. Faded baseball cap, clean-shaven, a jacket zipped up tight, despite the warm night. His smile was small but stiff, like he'd practiced it. "Late night, huh?" he said as we pulled away from the curb. His voice was low, steady, and just a little too calm. "Yeah, just heading home," I muttered, already pulling out my phone. The GPS app confirmed it. The route was short, direct, exactly what I expected. The first 15 minutes were normal. Streetlights, passing cars, the city still buzzing with life even at that hour. But then, slowly, things began to change. We took a left turn I didn't recognize. Then another. At first, I thought it was just the app rerouting. It happens. But when I checked my phone again, the glowing blue line had shifted, leading us down roads I had never seen before. The driver glanced at me in the rearview mirror, his eyes catching mine for just a second too long. "Shortcut," he said before I could ask. His lips barely moved. I nodded, but something in my stomach twisted. The buildings outside the window thinned. Streetlights grew fewer, farther apart. And then, with an uneasy jolt, my phone screen froze. The map, once alive with movement, had gone pale gray. The little arrow marking my location hovered over a blank space. No streets. No names. Just emptiness. Hey? I think the app's bugging out," I said, holding my phone up toward the front seat. The driver didn't look. "Signal's bad out here." I hadn't noticed until then how quiet it had become. No traffic. No other cars. Just the hum of the engine and the tires crunching over asphalt that looked cracked and old, like it hadn't been maintained in years. "Where exactly are we?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Another pause. Then softly, almost himself, the driver said, "Not on any map you'd know." The words hit me like ice water. I sat up straighter, gripping my phone. I thought about opening the door, bailing out, but when I pressed the lock, it didn't budge. Child lock. My chest tightened. The driver's face was half lit by the dashboard glow, half in shadow. His smile stretched wider than before. That's when I realized I wasn't on a ride home anymore. I was being taken somewhere else. Somewhere I wasn't supposed to see. I wanted to believe he was joking. Just some weird sense of humor. But when I glanced back down at my phone, the screen was still frozen. No street names, no route, no escape. Just a tiny glowing arrow drifting aimlessly in gray nothingness. "Can you maybe take me back to the main road?" I asked, forcing a laugh I didn't feel. "I don't mind if it's longer. The driver cut me off without looking back. "We're almost there." "Almost where?" That question started screaming in my head. I tried calling a friend, dialing frantically, but the screen flashed no service. Not a single bar. I even tried snapping a photo of the road signs to look them up later, but the signs were blank. White boards, standing crooked, with no words at all. That's when I knew this wasn't just some wrong turn. The city was gone. The houses had vanished. The roads were narrower, swallowed by trees that leaned in like they were eavesdropping. The headlights barely cut through the fog, rolling across the cracked asphalt. Have you ever felt watched even when no one's there? That's what it felt like. Like something, not the driver, but something else, was waiting for me at the end of this road. I leaned forward. Look, I think there's a mistake. This isn't showing up on my map. Just drop me off here. I'll figure it out. He turned his head then. Slowly. Too slowly. His eyes met mine in the rear view. They didn't blink. You asked for a ride home. I'm taking you there. My skin crawled, because in his voice, I heard something off, like an echo, as if two voices spoke at once, his and another buried beneath it. The car rattled over a pothole, jolted me back. I reached for the door again, pulled the handle. Locked. I don't know why I whispered it, but the word slipped out of me. Where are we going? He smiled then, wide, too wide, to the place that doesn't exist on maps. The place where people like you end up when no one's watching. I froze. People like me? The car rolled to stop. Not at a house. Not at a gas station. But at a clearing. The trees opened into a vast field of fog, thick and heavy. And in the middle of it, lights. Dim, yellow lights flickering like lanterns. They formed a path, leading deeper into the mist. The driver put the car in park, turned around, and finally fully faced me. His skin looked wrong. Pale, stretched like it didn't fit him. His eyes were too dark, too deep, and his smile never moved as he said, "We're here." The car engine went quiet. The only sound left was the tick-tick of cooling metal and the low hum of fog pressing against the windows. I could feel my own heart louder than anything else. The driver just sat there, not moving, not speaking, just smiling at me through the mirror. You know that feeling when silence is so heavy it feels alive? That's what it was like. I wanted to scream. I wanted to unlock the door, but I already knew it wouldn't open. Where are we? My voice cracked, sounding smaller than I wanted. The driver finally turned his head, his neck moving slow like rusted hinges. He looked right at me and said, "You'll see." Then he opened his door and stepped out. I froze. What do you do in that moment? Do you follow him? Do you stay? Do you fight? My hand hovered over the lock again. Useless. My phone dead. No service. No GPS. No way to call anyone. The driver walked around to my side and tapped on the window. Tap, tap, tap. The sound made my skin crawl. I shook my head. No, I'm not getting out. His smile stretched. You already did. And for a moment, I thought I saw something impossible, my reflection in the glass, stepping out of the car, even though I hadn't moved. I blinked, and it was gone. Just me inside. He opened the back door anyway. The hinges groaned, fog spilling inside like smoke. "Come," he said softly. Every instinct screamed at me not to, but something else, something colder, pulled me forward, like invisible strings tugging my chest. I stepped out. The air outside was freezing, heavy with the smell of wet soil and something metallic. The fog wrapped around my legs, rising higher with each step. My shoes sank slightly into ground, even though it looked solid. Ahead, those lanterns I'd seen earlier flickered. A crooked line of dim yellow lights vanishing into the mist. They weren't electric lamps. They were old, too old. Wooden poles with glass lanterns, their flames moving unnaturally, like they breathed. The driver stood beside me, hands folded calmly. "Follow the lights," he said. "Why?" I whispered, "Because this is where you were always going." My skin prickled. Always going? What did that mean? I glanced back at the car. But the car was gone. The space where it should have been was empty, swallowed by the fog. I spun in circles, heart hammering. Nothing. No car. No road. No trees. Just endless gray mist pressing in on all sides. Where is it? I shouted. The driver tilted his head. You never had a ride home. And with that, he began walking down the lantern path. I should have run the other way. I should have screamed, fought, anything, but my legs moved on their own, following him deeper and deeper into the fog. The path went on longer than it should have. Minutes stretched like hours. The only sounds were our footsteps and the faint hiss of the lantern flames. And then I saw them. Figures. At first, I thought they were just shadows in the fog. But as we got closer, I realized they were people, standing silently along the sides of the path. Dozens of them. Maybe more. Men, women, children. Their clothes looked old, faded, from different times, some in suits, some in dresses, some in rags. Their faces were pale, hollow, their eyes dark pits that seemed to follow me as I walked past. None of them moved. None of them spoke. I whispered, "Who are they?" The driver's voice came low. "Passengers. Like you." My stomach dropped. Passengers. One of the figures, a woman with stringy black hair covering her face, tilted her head slowly as I passed. I swear I heard her whisper, just faintly, "Asterisk, turn back." Asterisk. I stopped dead. My throat tightened. I turned to the driver. She spoke. "Did you hear that?" He didn't answer. He just kept walking. I tried to move again, but the woman suddenly leaned forward. Her face came into view. Her mouth opened unnaturally wide, and a low, guttural sound leaked out, like a scream trapped deep in her chest. I stumbled back, heart racing. But when I blinked, she was still silent, staring again. I forced myself to keep walking. Finally, the path ended. The fog opened into a clearing, and in the center of it was a building. It looked like a bus station. Small, old, crumbling. The kind of place you'd see abandoned on the side of some forgotten road. But it was alive with faint light, flickering through cracked windows. A sign above the door hung crooked, the paint peeling. I squinted to read it. The words were faint, but I made them out. End of the line. I shook my head. No, this isn't real. This can't be real. The driver finally turned to me, his face impossibly calm. It's as real as where you came from, just not on any map. The doors creaked open by themselves. Inside, I could see rows of wooden benches, and people, dozens of them, sitting silently, heads down, hands folded, waiting. Waiting for what? I whispered, "I don't belong here." The driver stepped closer. His voice dropped low, almost kind. Neither did they. But here they are. He reached out his hand. "It's time to take your seat." I backed away, shaking my head violently. "No, I'm not staying here." The fog pressed harder, closing in. The figures from the path were moving now, slowly, jerking, stepping into the clearing, surrounding me, their hollow eyes all fixed on me. I turned, ready to run. But when I did, the driver was already there, blocking me. His smile stretched wider, splitting the corners of his mouth unnaturally. His eyes turned black, swallowing all light. And then he whispered, "You've already arrived." The ground beneath me gave way. I fell, screaming, into blackness. I woke up in my own bed. For a moment, I thought it was a dream, just a nightmare. But when I looked at my phone, my stomach dropped. The Uber app was still open, the ride still active, and the screen said, "Trip complete." But the location listed wasn't my home. It just said, "End of the line." That was the ride, a trip that started like any other, and ended somewhere that doesn't exist on any map. The passenger never saw the driver again. And the Uber app, it stayed frozen like that for weeks before the account disappeared completely. So what do you think? Was it just a nightmare? A glitch? Or did they really cross into a place the rest of us can't see? If you've ever taken an Uber or a late-night ride home, maybe you felt it too, that moment when the road seemed unfamiliar, when the silence feels too heavy, when the driver's smile lingers a little too long. Maybe, just maybe, that's when you're closest to the place where lost passengers go. Thank you for listening. If this story chilled you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves a good scare. It helps us keep bringing you new nightmares every single week. Until next time, stay safe and check your maps carefully, because the next ride you take might not bring you home.